Free advertising. Alex, you need to pay for that one.
I was like, I ain't an engineer. I don't know what the hell you talking about.
Alright, so thank you for those who participated in this activity. Remember, tonight and tomorrow is a good opportunity for you to meet someone new and to learn something new. So continue to reach out to people that you haven't seen before and say, hi, what's your name? And then start with you. Alright, okay, so quickly to cover what's coming up next. So we have our last talk for the night. And then we're going to combine our small groups and tea time. So we have some tea in the back and some snacks that we're going to have for you. So we're going to ask you to grab your snacks and then go into your small groups. And then we're going to go and talk a little bit about Tezbeha and actually start Vespers and Tezbeha. So that's it, and then it's free time. Okay? So if everyone can quiet down, we can start our last talk about forgiving others.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you for our gathering here. We ask you from the depths of our heart that you come and to speak to us so that both the speaker and the listeners will benefit. Because the whole concept is about you and your character. The character that you give us, by which you give us hope to continue and to keep going. Forgive us our sins, O Lord, for our weaknesses, and make us, O Lord, as your children, be eligible to call upon you and pray thankfully, our Father who art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Christ Jesus our Lord.
Observe my Father. Pray for me, please. Let's use an introductory story that puts some things in perspective a little bit. Can we open 2 Kings chapter 6? 2 Kings chapter 6. I have it here in the Arabic Bible, so I would like that somebody can read it for us. Anybody has the story ready? Can you read it for us? 2 Kings chapter 6. And verse 1.
And then And the sons of the prophet said to Elisha, "See now, the place where we dwell with you is too small for us. Please let us go to the Jordan, and let every man take a beam from there, and let us make there a place where we may dwell." So he answered, "Go." Then one said, "Please consent to go with your servants." And he answered, "I will go." So he went with them, and when they came to the Jordan, they cut down trees. But as one was cutting down a tree, the iron axe head fell into the water, and he cried out and said, "Alas, master, for it was borrowed." So the man of God said, "Where did it fall?" And he showed him the place. So he cut off a stick and threw it in there, and he made the iron float. Therefore he said, "Pick it up for yourself." So he reached out his hand and took it. Now the king of Syria was making war against Israel.
Okay, we'll stop here. It's about this small story. So can I have the mic? Thank you very much. You see what's written here, my life is not mine. How is this story related to what we are doing here? Anybody can see any link? There is under Elisha, they're moving from one place to another. Everybody will take the wood and will make a place to live in. And he said, "Go." He took permission from him to go, and he said, "Go." And then they went to the Jordan and started cutting wood. And as they were cutting the wood, the axe has a handle of wood, and the head of it is of iron. So it flew as he's swinging to cut the wood. The axe head flew and fell into the water. And then he said, "Oh Lord, it's a borrow, it's not mine. This axe head is not mine." So the man of God, Elisha, said, "Where did it fall?" And he showed him the place. So he cut a piece of wood and threw it in the water, and the iron floated. And the man took it back and fixed it to the wooden handle. That's the logistics of the story. So how is this related to me? Has anybody come across this event before? So let's think about it. First of all, before moving from one place to another, they took permission from the man of God before making the decision. Because what will help us to forgive others is one important fact about ourselves, that your life is not yours, it's a borrow. Here is the key. How do we see from this? My life is a borrow. This man, as he's working with this axe, the axe is not his, the head flew in the water. When the head flew in the water, he felt he did something right, because before moving from one place to another, he took the permission of the man of God. He didn't do the decision of moving on his own. Because sometimes what will put us in situations where we need to forgive is decisions we made and made our lives more difficult. And that's why we got stuck with a certain situation that we get hurt in. And we would require to forgive. Or when we get hurt, if it's a person, then we'll have to start, what do I deal with it? So maybe the decision to begin with was done haphazardly, or without consulting God, or without consulting our Father of Confession, or without praying and fasting about it. So this man did the right order. He said, "Can we move to this place?" He said, "Yes, go ahead, move." So when the situation became a problem, he was not internally disturbed, because he knew that he did the right move based on a permission from God. So let's contemplate. As he's cutting, as he's working, this axe head fell into the water, and he screamed, "It's not mine. It's not mine." And then he went again he has two options now. Should he dive to get it? And he said, "Before I do anything, let me do what? Go and ask who? The man of God. And the man of God didn't tell him dive after it. What did he do? He got a piece of wood, he threw the wood in the water. When he threw the wood in the water, the axe head floated. When we see something abnormal like this, then there is a big message here. The axe head floated when he put the wood into the water. So let's discuss how is this related to help me to forgive. What is the axe head? And what's the bottom of the river? What's the piece of wood? And what's the floating of the axe head? The axe head, that's a borrow. Let's relate it to this. I wrote this as a hint. The axe head, he said, "O Lord," or "Alas, Master," it's a borrow. So what is the axe head? Your life, exactly. Your life. Your life that you use it for your work, cutting the trees. It's a borrow from God. And at some point, it flew off. It went out of control. And it fell into the bottom of the river. What's in the bottom of the river? What's in the bottom of the river? Mud. Mud. So here's the question. Now I lost this life, or I lost control or a handle on this situation. Be it whatever, forgiving others, addicted to something. I'm just saying that the enveloping or the environment is that we need to understand that because our life is not ours, so we have to lower a little bit our pride, because it's in the whole big picture, it's a borrow. God gave it to you to use it and to bring it back better than the way you took it, or at least maintained it. Maintained it is better. The way you took it in baptism as a new nature that He made it new because of His cross. So falling of the life or the axe in the mud is this situation. I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. So there's two options. I handle it myself, or I ask God repeatedly how to do. Because you could have a solution I don't know, which is what we saw unfold here. So, who is the man of God, literally? Who's the one he's dealing with here? 2 Kings. Elisha, thank you very much. Very good. So into Elisha, what did Elisha do? Did he tell him, jump down, get it? What's the solution that Elisha did? To the stick. What is that stick? That when he put it in the water, it made this axe head come up. Cross, exactly. The cross. The cross that the Father of confession, by the power of the forgiveness of God, puts on the head of the confessor and lets his life come back from the mud to the surface, clean. And that's exactly the act. When you lose your life, it flies off of you and falls. It requires the man of God's help by the power of the cross, because it's not his own. He's wearing the priesthood of Christ. It's not his personal power. That by the cross, inserting the cross in your life, that your life can be restored back. And you can take it back and continue with it. And this happens whenever it falls in the water. So in this sense, it teaches two things. Events that happen in the Old Testament are not just stories for us, for bedtime stories. They are all pointing to salvation. Whether it talks about the congregation, or it talks about the place of the worship, or it talks about the way of worship. And the congregation could become kingdoms, or before it became kingdoms, it could be led by judges, and so on. That is very, very clear. So I want to latch on this in forgiveness. So if I'm hurt, the only way to alleviate this and deal with it, hurt to the point that I feel that my life, like exactly what the Lord told to Cain, why is your face long? Why are you so sad? Because I didn't accept your sacrifice. Do it again. So in that sense, please do not deal with hurt away from the church. You have to go to the man of God. He has to put the cross on the situation. Then you can have a clarity of thinking, that you can deal with it better. Because if you deal with it in anger, or it's my life, or how could this happen to me, to begin with, it is not your life. It's a borrow. It's a borrow. And the best way to invest it when it's a borrow is to invest it always after discussing with the man of God. In your prayers with Christ, in your confessions, in your repentance, in your communion, everything, it seems the logical solution, it fell here, let me jump and get it. You might sink, you'll get wet, you might get moved with the current and not able to reach where it is. You might not find it. And the man of God had a solution inspired by God, threw a piece of wood here and it floated. Because this is a situation, the prophet won't jump, the person won't jump. It's hard to get it up. So God can really insert himself in a way that you couldn't imagine he could do this. So this story tells us that my life is not my own, and God has solutions. God has solutions with things that makes my life go out of control, especially being hurt by someone else, and I'm not able to even comprehend. But it takes faith, and this is what we said, prayer. If you pray, the thing that the devil hates most is prayer. And if you tell the devil, should I serve or pray, he says, serve. All day long. Just don't pray. And what he hates most in prayer is praying with faith and forgiveness. Because when I forgive, God listens. When I forgive, I am taking his attitude, his position, my identity as a son of God. So let's open St. Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount. And this is the core of living this, my life as a borrow. And God is telling us, it has been said to the old, and they cannot do it, but now you can, so I'm telling you the following. It is done very, very well in St. Matthew and in St. Luke, and I want to be open for interruption, situations, hurts. Please don't hold back, because I'm sure something you will say will be an inspiration to someone else. So I need someone to read from. I want to read verse 21 to 26, and then we'll read from 38. So who can read?
What chapter?
That's a good question, actually.
Chapter 5. I should have said the chapter first. And what verse again? Because I forgot.
We'll start from verse 20. What's your name?
Philip.
Philip. Thanks, Philip. We'll start from verse 21. St. Matthew chapter 5, from verse 21. A very common passage, but let's reread it today.
You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council. But whoever says, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar, and go your way. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Agree with your adversary quickly, while you are on the way with him, lest your adversary deliver you to the judge. The judge hand you over to the officer, and you be thrown into prison. Surely I say to you, you will by no means get out of there till you have paid the last penny.
Thank you, Philip. This is loaded with several ideas that we have to think about in order to help us for forgiveness. So is this here something that there is room for anger? There is room for anger. Where does it say this? Verse 22, exactly. Don't be angry for him unjustifiably. So God acknowledges that somebody hurt you and you're angry. The key here is that how do I deal with it? Exactly as this axe fell into the mud as I was on my business. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm doing the right thing. I actually took permission from God to do this. And then in the process, somebody hurt. And I'm angry that I'm hurt. So the next step is, what do I do then with this anger? How can I diffuse this anger? How can I get rid of it? I can't sleep. He says he gives his beloved sleep, but I can't sleep. Why I can't sleep? Something is eating me up. I was told the word. Of course, if I deserve it, it's a result of something wrong I did, then don't get angry. Because what the person sows, he reaps. But if it's something that you're unjustifiably done to you, of course, you can get angry. So there is the fork in the road. One way is to revenge. I have to pay back. The other way is to forgive. Which one will bring you peace? But which one is easier? Revenge. Why is revenge easier than what gives you peace?
It feels like
The name again, Anthony?
Andrew.
Andrew.
It's almost you want to do justice unto yourself.
Excellent, Andrew. Why do I want to do justice unto myself? I need to see who's speaking. Yes?
So you feel like it's even, like when somebody's wrong you and you return or whatever it was, there's some kind of gratification, like now you feel what I felt. Like you can understand what you did to me because I reciprocated it to you.
So I basically take his axe head and throw it into the river.
Right back up.
In context in what we're saying.
Yes.
You made mine flow into the river, give me yours, here it is, go find it. I feel so great now. It's too excellent. Now, I am down in the river, and instead of me coming up, I brought somebody else down. I didn't come up, by the way. I just justified or facilitated a decision or a situation where I could not trust the timing or the amount of revenge that God does. Because my prayer would be, yes, I wish that God does to him what he did to me. It's going to be the first, at least, that faith, if I forgive, but I want to see the revenge of God taking effect. That could be my condition for revenging, is that God will avenge me. I would be very upset with God if he forgives him. What if God loves him?
Then you go to lose some more sleep.
Because of God now? He shouldn't love him? Because he hurt me?
Because you think it's not fair.
So, why does God love you? Not you personally.
Oh no, I'm saying in your head it's not fair.
Not fair, and no, he hurts me and God loves him.
No, that God loves us both, but he let him hurt me and didn't do anything about it.
So we have to look for, yes.
I think it goes back to our selfish nature, because we just want everything for me. Like, if God loves him, but he hurt me, he shouldn't love him because it's all about me. So it goes back to us.
Or he can love him after he avenges me. That would be the most fair thing. So God hurt him and then love him, please. So I'm going to instruct God how to handle the situation, which is what this man did not do with Elisha. Yes.
So I was going to say, it reminds me of how the story of Jonah, when he came to the tree withering away, and God was trying to tell him that, how much more did I love my own people, and yet he was upset about this tree, and how that basically, because Jonah knew that God was going to save his people, and so his pride was hurting, and he was sitting outside of the city, and when the tree withered away, he was upset about that and used that as an analogy. So I feel like it's very, very similar.
It is very simple, exactly. God is making Jonah taste what he lost and he didn't labor in, and what God is losing and God is laboring for these souls. Very, very good. So I need to get rid of this anger. First of all, if I revenge, because my revenge will be, of course, if I'm hurt wrong, I have to go and explain to him. So there's two options. There's two options. He will say, I'm sorry, And God says, if he doesn't get convinced, take another person and go and let him know what he did wrong. All of these are godly solutions. If he doesn't listen to the other person, take him to the church and let him know. Which I'm saying, do peaceful steps to alert the person to the hurt. Maybe the person didn't notice.
Is it dangerous to do the other side of it and just be passive and let it go? Like every time this happens, not with just one specific person, but in general, you just let it go. Like people sometimes are very naturally passive. Is that also very dangerous?
Yes, because at some point an explosion will happen. We have to let it go actively, not passively.
What's the difference?
I'll explain the difference because it's a mindset. And this is what yes, Theo.
Yeah, I think just like on the spectrum of looking at revenge on one end, forgiveness on the other, I think an important consideration just has to be how do we make sure this doesn't happen again for the most part. And so that's where that
So we can't control that.
you can't, but perhaps you can make a contribution through that experience.
But is it my job to ensure that it happens again, or just accept that this is part of my growth?
Maybe not your job, but as Christians, perhaps it's our way of maybe doing a little bit good just because we experienced it personally. I mean, it's not your responsibility, of course, but if there's an opportunity and you're dealing with it personally, maybe take that opportunity.
I don't think forgiveness means being passive. I think there's a
Forgiveness is a very active act.
yes.
Absolutely, it takes so
No.
much.
Not letting go of the
If you're being passive, isn't it kind of like you're just brushing it under the rug, but you're eventually going to trip up on that bump?
It's going to be a very high bump. Unless it's not under the rug, unless it's in Christ's blood, and this is how we'll try to do it tonight. But let me warn you from the revenge, because the revenge, it says in the rest of it, because God is telling us, I want to warn you from the revenge. So it's not disconnected. So it says, if you get hurt and you're angry, he tells us in another context, go and talk to the person. He doesn't listen, take another one. He doesn't listen, take a third one, or go to the church. He doesn't listen, let him be like the heretic and the heathen. The heretic and the heathen, we pray for them, but they are now chose to be disconnected from us. But the church, whenever they repent and come back, the church does what? Have you changed your belief? Yes, okay, then you're back. You see the idea here? So the heretic and the heathen doesn't mean garbage. Means somebody who is now conditioned to enter back into my life. Does that make sense? Because I'm treating them after 3 trials, not responding or acknowledging that this is hurtful, then okay, I'm just going to pray for the person, but I will not let him have access to me the same way it was before. With love, he needs help, I'll visit. But in that situation, where I was taken advantage of, the next time, there's going to be some limits or some conditions. I'm sorry, Kiro, I want to finish this thought. I want to talk about what is this enemy that you have to make peace with before he takes you to the judge. Think about this, by the way. This is the next question that's coming. Who's that enemy that I have to reconcile with before he takes me to the judge? But let's read it first. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar and then remember that your brother has something against you, it's all of a sudden something against you. He's the one insulted me. It means here that you took action in your hand and you avenged your anger. So now God is saying, if your brother has something against you, although in the beginning of the verse or the passage that Philip read for us, in fact, I have something against him. So in the middle, God is telling me, don't reverse it. Don't avenge. Don't revenge. Don't hurt him back the same way. Because if you do, now he has something against you. Leave your gift there before the altar and go your way. First reconcile to your brother and then come and offer your gift. Agree with your adversary quickly while you are on the way with him, lest your adversary deliver you to the judge hand you over to the officer, and you be thrown into prison. Assuredly, I say to you, you will no means get out of there till you have paid the last penny. Who is that adversary? Is he the person, or God is referring to another entity? That God is asking me in this context, please fix it before he takes you to the judge. Who is that adversary? Your conscience. Your conscience that will not leave you alone. you won't be able to sleep because you stooped down to the level of revenge. That's below you. That is below you to revenge. It's below a Christian to revenge. It's below a Christian to have an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. So in this context, God is saying, if you avenge yourself, good luck with your conscience. مش هتنام. If you're truly a Christian. If you sleep well, you will have a bigger problem. you're now a completely different category to deal with. So God is saying here, reconcile with your adversary when your conscience is against you now, before he takes you if your conscience stands in the last day and say, I kept nagging, because your conscience as a Christian person is under the control of the Holy Spirit now. If you're able to put both to sleep, very, very bad situation. So reconcile with him. Don't let your conscience ache you. When you sleep and something wrong happened to you, you're crucified. Your conscience is not upset. It's your ego that's upset. So there's one of two voices you want to satisfy. Either my pride or my conscience. If you satisfy your pride, the gratification is instant. But if you're too Christian, really your conscience is not dead. The pain of your conscience telling you shouldn't have done this will continue for a long time. And you have to make peace with that voice. That's a voice that you can never suppress. And that's why every sinner has a sickness or gets sick after a while. Because the voice of truth, you can never push it under the rug. You can deal with hurt by forgiveness. There is the cross. There is another motivating factor. I'm going to get into it right now. But never, ever do something that your conscience is telling you wrong about. You will not be healthy. Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering, where does justice fit in all this? Is there a Christian notion of justice?
God's justice.
As opposed to revenge. The difference between, like, it's not
Sure.
ruled by personal grievances. It's like, this is what's right, because they deserve it, and it'll discourage them from doing it again, or something like that. Does that exist for us?
It does exist, man. You go and talk with him. He acknowledges, okay. He doesn't. Maybe somebody can convince him. He doesn't. Terabuna. Maybe he can reconcile. He doesn't, then you're done. You're doing exactly what you're asked to do. That's the justice. Because the ultimate thing is the reconciliation. Greet one another with a holy kiss. If you offer your offering and you find that a person has something against you, reconcile. When he hurts you, he has nothing. You're not indebted anything. You're the one who's winning. So please, there is these two voices inside of us, and you might rush to satisfy the pride one first, but the price we pay for this is, if you're a true Christian, will be a long-lasting price. Till you reconcile with your conscience, which will only happen till you go and try to make peace with the person. At least the burden of peace is now on you, not on him in front of God. Any question? Yes.
So what do you do when every time you forgive people that hurts you, and even if they're wrong, you just decide to forgive them so you can have peace in your life. But at the same time, they take it for granted. And whenever you show them that you're upset and you want to set boundaries, they don't care. And they decide just to leave. And even if you're upset, they still don't care because they got used to, you're the one who has to forgive. You're the one who has to initiate forgiveness or talk. What do you do?
What do you do? What's the point for it? Let's see the point. What's your name?
Jackie.
Jackie's question in 1 Peter chapter 1. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 1. What is the point of people who hurt? And of course, you know more than I that these people were inserted in Christ's life amply, and he did not annihilate them. The Pharisees, Pilate, Judas, St. Peter, all of them, he got extremely hurt by them. So one of the persons who hurt Christ bad wrote for us an epistle. Who hurt Christ bad? The lovely, one and only St. Peter. All of his epistle is about joy in tribulation, because he was so indebted to Christ to not make him any less than the rest of the disciples, although he was the most motivated, the most confessing, and then the most denying. But he was touched so much that God told him, you can still attend to my sheep. So now he's going to tell us tribulation has an investment. Is an investment, not has. Is an investment. So Jackie, I want you to read. Or if you don't want to read, you can assign somebody else.
No, I can read this one.
Let's open our ears very, very clearly to the one who denied Christ 3 times was cursing. I don't know the man. Sarah said, I don't know the man. And let's read how he looks at Christ and tribulations because of this forgiveness of God. So we're going to read from verse 1 to verse 8. Listen to this part. We're going to read. First Peter chapter 1. I also forgot the chapter. From verse 1 to verse 8.
Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to the grant of this session in the Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father and satisfaction of the Spirit, for obedience and sparkling of the blood of Jesus Christ, grace to you and peace be multiplied.
So just a small deviation. That's why we sprinkle water at the end of the liturgy, to remind us of the sprinkling of the blood of Jesus Christ. So you just had communion. Remember that this is actually the blood of Christ that sanctifies you. So the sprinkling of the water is a reminder using this verse, because everything in the Old Testament was sanctified by the sprinkling of the blood of sacrifices. So after we take communion, we sprinkle the water that we are, hey, what you just had is the renewal, the sprinkling of the blood of Christ on you.
Blessed be the God and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who according to his abundant mercy has begotten us again to a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that does not fade away, reserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of God through faith, for salvation ready to be revealed in the last time. In this you greatly rejoice, through now, for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by various trials, that the genesis of your faith, being much more precious than gold, that precious through it is tested by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory at the revelation of Jesus Christ, whom having not seen you love, though now you do not see him, yet believing you rejoice with joy inexpressible and full of glory.
So it's an investment question. Revenge is an investment question, or paying back, or justice, as Pierre said. So let's see what's fair. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who according to his abundant mercy has begotten us again to living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, to an inheritance. Here is the 3 qualities of the inheritance: incorruptible, undefiled, and does not fade away. Reserved. How do you reserve it? In heaven for you, who are kept by the power of God through faith for salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. Christ is telling us in St. Matthew, don't think I came to put peace on earth. I came to put a sword, which means because of the faith of Christianity, there is going to be in the same house divisions. Somebody will believe and somebody will abuse the believer. I had a convert that was Indian. I remember his brother and sister tortured him because he's converted to Christianity. A young professional, grown-up person, and thank God he's so far with the family in the church and so on. Completely off, because he lived with a Coptic roommate. Clicked with the church, came for catechism, became very close friends, and which is what catechism is about, to see Abuna not as an authority, but as a friend you can talk to. So the Lord is telling us, this is an investment. And this investment has to happen in the following. There's only one way to keep this investment. It's not by easy time, but it's by difficult time. Because I did not come to put a peace on earth. I came to put a faith that the devil would have to have. That the devil was, I have a couple in paradise, he didn't leave them alone. So, Habibi, once you get baptized, your name is written in the kingdom of heaven, and it's a matter of a short life, and you'll get there. I want to reserve this incorruptible because nobody can get there undefiled, nobody can touch it. Enemies on the earth can get there at all. And that doesn't fade away, it doesn't decrease. The beautiful thing about God, when we confess our sins, they go to zero. But our good deeds never go to zero. He keeps adding them up. He's very, very merciful in accounting. You hurt him and you repent, he goes back to the zero, doesn't remember it. You keep doing good things, he keeps stashing it up. So trying to get any way to get us into the kingdom of heaven. Let's continue. In this you greatly rejoice. Okay? I have a faith, I have an inheritance that's incorruptible, that's undefiled, and doesn't fade away. St. Peter doesn't stop there. He says, you're happy now? Yes, I'm very happy. I didn't know that this is happening on my behalf. But wait a minute. In this you greatly rejoice, though now, for a little while, if need be, you have been grieved by various, what? Trials. If need be. So let's see the benefit of trials. The benefit of my enemies, that consider themselves my enemies. The benefit that happens to me because somebody caused me harm. Do you benefit anything? Is there an unseen benefit because somebody caused you harm? But yeah.
It raises my threshold of tolerance.
And it lowers the threshold of heaven. Because when you're hurt, God is hurt. فيما هو قد تألم مجربا قادر أن يعين المجربين. As he was in Hebrews 9, as he was in tribulations, he's able to help all of those in tribulation. We don't have Christianity in vacuum. So number one, your enemies are the ones who will be responsible to put you in the kingdom of heaven, not your friends. That's the investment. Because God looks at this. My son is going through unfairness, or my daughter. That doesn't pass. In Revelation 7, it says, he wipes every tear from their eye, which means, where did this come from? They came from the Great Tribulation. Has anybody in heaven came from luxury? No. No. That's a fact. That's why it's heaven. That's why it's endless. That's why there is no groaning or sorrow or sadness ever. Nobody is able to take your joy away from you. I am going to prepare a place for you. So the mindset, when I feel that my enemies are investing for my account in heaven, مش قادر أقول hurt me more. It's hard, which is some of the saints decided on it. So there's a spectrum, as Carlos still told us. Some of the saints were accused of fathering a child. That's St. Macarius, for example. St. Marina was a lady. And she kept quiet. She could have very easily explained the situation. Why did she keep quiet? Does she enjoy torture? No. It's imitating this nail that went into the hand of Christ, and he was screaming. He wasn't quiet and says, oh, that's for my children. He was screaming. If you study the shroud, the psychological pain, the lack of sleep, the hunger, the complete disappointment in his disciples, and the physical pain. You know how much Christ had to stand up on the nail that's on his leg to breathe? Just to breathe. 2,700 times. 3 hours of pushing the nail in the foot just to breathe. Till he died with asphyxiation. So, Hadriko, just a second, I want to finish this. So please, the thing that will keep us have at least, as you said, Jackie, I keep hurting, at least that you're not very angry, that you're not losing your soul like fire about it. Put in your mind, this person just invested a huge account in my account in heaven. Still talk to the person, but your mindset is different. This is what I'm trying to say. The way you approach, defend, ask for your right. But when you're angry and frustrated, you won't be able to be as calm. So I'm trying to give you, how can you be calm when you ask for justice? There's some room for justice, you can get justice. But how can I ask for it? I go and punch and hurt and backstab or do some worldly things? You know what? Your conscience will hurt because you're a Christian and you have now to answer to your own conscience, which is going to be harder. You see, this is the whole way. Somebody, your hands in here. Yes.
I just want to say that sometimes it's difficult to decipher the difference of the forgiveness because there's a fear of the repetitive behavior of the other person.
I didn't say let go.
Yeah, but
I'm saying the mindset.
Right, but I think it's important though to remember that when we're forgiving someone, we're not inviting that hurt to be repeated into our lives. You can forgive someone, but be firm in the sense that this behavior is not acceptable to be repeated to me. It doesn't matter whether they care or not.
They keep receiving because they don't care.
Right, well that's the clarity in that.
Then you have a great investor.
You're forgiving. I think you're forgiving.
Every time you're hurt, yeah, go ahead.
You're forgiving for yourself. You're not forgiving to get them to care. Now you have to look at your intention. Am I speaking to them to forgive them, or am I trying to get them to care or see where I'm coming from? Then there's a whole psychological thing that's going on there. And I think that that's important to decipher the difference. You have to align with God and Jesus and pull away from the emotion that that person is pulling you into so that you don't spiral down into this cycle. Because then it's going to be a psychological issue that you can't pull yourself out of.
And I'm saying that the true catalyst to this, which is not a drug that Abu Nabi says, this is what Hinduism and Buddhism, accept the pain and absorb it and it will go away. These are the philosophies that don't have the icon of Christ. So what I'm saying here is the real remedy for it. Are you convinced what I'm saying? It's not just a story to pacify yourself. That's why back when she said, should I be passive? That's an active act. St. Basil said, the eye can turn from looking at the sun to looking at my shadow. So how can I ask for my right and discuss the matter without me burning inside? I am treating the burning aspect because I don't know how your friend is. I don't know how the situation will turn. I don't know how God will handle it. But what's important is you. Is what happened helpful to you in terms of the kingdom of heaven or not? If you accept, if you take the hurt, greatly helpful. Now, how do I deal with it? It's beneficial for me. Can I answer back? Absolutely. Christ said, if I said something wrong, point to it. If not, why are you hitting me? In the situation, he could have sent angels to kill this person. Well, yeah, just if the person would drop dead when God takes away his life. Why didn't he? Why didn't he? Because Jackie later on will need this image to give an active forgiveness to the person while telling the person what you did hurts. Not suck it up. Make sense? So what we're seeing here is not a drug. It's not a therapy mechanism that we invented. This is the truth. And I'm going to tell you, God is very, very, very fair. How can one of his children is hurting and he doesn't notice it, which we think he doesn't. He absolutely does. What you raise his hand and then we'll go to Nardine. Yes, sir.
What you were saying about how when you suffer, when you feel pain, when you go through trials and tribulations, as martyrs have, as others do today in the world, that actually, in a way, brings you closer to entering the kingdom of heaven. Is that correct? What you were
Absolutely. Saying? Absolutely. Because heaven is given as a reward for injustice.
So it makes sense. The problem for me that makes it difficult for me is I feel like that has to be reconciled with the kind of will and effort put into making the world less violent and more peaceful and a place where there is less suffering.
Good luck.
I feel like that is a noble.
Habibi, you're correct, but good luck.
But humanity has made the world overall more peaceful than it was, say, 2,000 years ago, and it's incremental. We can't be 2,000, but we can try and we can make improvements.
Sure, try. بس أنا دلوقتي أنا مش عايزك on a personal level as an advice. Don't be busy with the world. احنا عندنا very short life to invest as much as I can to get to heaven. Let the world be the world's. أنا selfish. أنا عايز أروح السما. أنا very selfish in my salvation. But my salvation is tied to you. So عشان خاطري. Help me to get to heaven. Kiro, it's very, very good to. This is a Christian attitude. How can I, in the process of fixing this, also let others buy into the process? Isn't that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, they're not.
When you get disappointed, ask God for more power. May God be with you. I'm not saying this is a wrong way of thinking.
Remember, we're made in His image. I mean, that's plenty of power right there.
Great, go for it. I'm all behind you, yes, Nathan.
So I want to speak to a little bit about what Kira's saying, and just justice in general, and I highly recommend listening to Evangelos, because I'm totally paraphrasing what he said. The link is on YouTube. It's called About Slapping on the Other Cheek. So he was saying that, like, it's in our initial instinct to defend ourselves, right? Like, when an injustice happens to me, the immediate thing I want to do is defend myself. But as we are called to be like Christ, our initial instinct should be to get slapped on the cheek. Now, sometimes that seems like we're just a doormat. Maybe that's just what the world calls it, but I think that is resilience and showing the power of forgiveness and love that we are given by Christ. And Evangelos also said to that effect, like, personally, if there is an injustice occurring, especially when it can affect somebody else, speak the truth. Like Christ, and let God defend you. So, like, when you were giving the lecture, the last lecture, you were taught Christ was defending the woman who was sinful and didn't say anything about himself when Simon had something to say. So, in an injustice, he spoke the truth, and that's exactly what we're called to do. So, what Kiro's saying about, like, when there's an injustice occurring to you and to the world and to the people, there's nothing wrong with speaking to that injustice.
Absolutely.
As long as it's not coming from a place of self-fulfillment, like, I want to be right just for the sake of being right because I want to defend myself and look a certain way.
Exactly. It's not suppressing what I have to say. I can speak against it.
I just want to remind everybody that you don't have to look far for the person to hurt you. What I mean is the person that's going to hurt you is probably the one that you love the most, your family, your immediate family. So sometimes we want to forgive everybody. Our coworkers, we're thinking about our coworkers, we're thinking about the world, and then you're so your heart is so hard to the person that you love the most. So if you can elaborate to that, because soon, inshallah, everybody's gonna have family, kids, and they're gonna have the hardest time forgiving the person that they love the most, and they love that, they love that.
Now, it starts by now. It starts by now. What Laura's saying is that don't rule anything out, basically, where the hurt may come from. But how do I be ready? How am I going to get hurt? Ready because I'm already a peaceful person. Peaceful person doesn't mean quiet or passive. But the way he handles or she handles the situation is very level-headed because she's very well composed, or he's very well composed for himself. Where does this well composition come from? It comes from the training, which starts by, at some point in life, God will start inserting in our life, which is never by coincidence. Any person who crosses my life is by God's permission to ameliorate me, to enhance me, to make me a better person. It depends on how I deal with it. So if I deal with every person who annoys me that he should be getting out of my way, or I need to separate, I will never grow. I will never be perfect. Perfection comes from dealing with what is difficult for me to deal. And if I deal with it on just psychologically and not use the liturgy, I'm going to point to the Bible and say the liturgy, because this is the whole point of this book. When I come to the church, and I have the icon of the growth of the church, and the power of the church is the icon of weakness, which is in fact a very, very good method for convincing logically the odds against the success of this movement called Christianity. I want to focus on this part. So please, God is training you for perfection, and it will not go unnoticed. And if it goes unnoticed in this world, you will be guaranteed by God the following: that the genuineness of your faith, being much more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to praise, honor, and glory when at the revelation of Jesus Christ. So God is telling you, I guarantee you, what you did will be known to the whole world, because you have to be rewarded, you have to be acknowledged. People have to know why you're going to heaven. I have to justify why are you going to heaven. I have to enhance that you are not what you thought as a doormat. You are very strong inside, because it takes a strong person to tolerate, not the weak one. The weak one punches back. The strong one is reserved. شتم فلم يفتح فاه. He was insulted, did not open his mouth. Second, what we're doing here is applying. We always say when God gives a tribulation, He gives with it what? The what? The outlet. What is the outlet? A manfaz. Yeah, what is the solution? There's two options. The solution, either the problem gets solved, or you get able to deal with it better. Isn't it a better solution to your personality that what used to be bothering you before is not bothering you anymore? What happened? You grew. You became more powerful. You became more Christ-like. That's the solution, and that's the better solution sometimes. So sometimes problems happen and stay. I thought God gives the outlet. Habibi, maybe the outlet is that God is shaping you bit by bit till you become perfect. Then you're eligible for the kingdom of heaven. If you're living an easy life and everything you get your right in it, and you have just whatever, nobody can step over you, you never stepped on, you never sacrificed. ربنا يقول لك في الآخر إيه ده؟ When I give you all what you want on earth, ما أقدرش أديك حاجة. There's nothing. Yes. So the outlet, the field, lots of hands. No sharp objects, please. The outlet of peace, or the outlet is for me to become a better person, because I'm dealing with this correctly, and that's only by Christ. I became a stronger person, yes. And then a couple of hands here.
I think one of our biggest issues that we are going to be dual-minded, because we have our eye on the prize as Christians. We are aware that there is another eternal life, but we're still currently living this life. So how you said earlier that you have to choose where you're going to get the praise from. So if you do a good deed and you get the praise for it here on earth, so it's already been taken care of.
لا مش already been taken care of. But God is saying, don't make this your goal, because once I have this as my goal, I become like an ice happy. I want my knowledge. This is where I lose the foresightedness of being in heaven while being on earth.
So that I thought of this like forgiveness. So if you are going to go the human route with forgiveness and avenge the wrongdoing that happened, then it will go down that path, and whatever happens will happen earthly. But if not, then the solution will be more heavenly. It's just more difficult to do that because you have to have faith that it is being rectified.
And patience.
Yeah.
So, and that's why he says in St. Timothy, in St. James chapter 1, my brethren, do not forget to consider, I'm gonna add a comment here, my brethren, do not consider it something strange that fiery trials are affecting you, knowing that the testing of your faith creates patience, and patience will be perfect work, that you become perfect, lacking nothing. So, and as you're saying, in the process you can speak against the injustice. In the process, it doesn't mean you're quiet. What I'm trying to do here, as you're fighting the injustice, are you fighting it with worldly method, with anger, with retribution, with revenge, or with a paper and pen, with a nice text, with explaining? It doesn't mean the other person will respond, but maybe they will. Sometimes they say, you might lose the battle but win the war. You know what that means? So this might happen very often. You might lose a battle, but on the bigger picture, I have a person recently told me, since we're doing the PhD together, out of nowhere, he said, so-and-so, I really want to apologize for all of the things I annoyed you with when we were doing the graduate studies. This is 20 years later. And I love that person. And I thought, what are you talking about? And he said, no, this and this. No harm done at all.
It's been bothering him for 20 years.
Exactly. But I never lost his friendship, and but it's just, because he has a good conscience, when we were connected again, he just wanted to, again, satisfy, because there's someone inside you telling you, there's something waiting that needs to be fixed. You can never suppress that voice. And if we succeed to suppress that voice, then we are going downhill very quickly. Because that is the one that's guided by the Holy Spirit who lives in us. And Katrine and Monica?
I'm already sorry, I already
20 minutes. 20 minutes. They're a very kind heart. It burns you very quickly. And anybody have questions?
Okay, sorry. So my difficulty is that, like, so with forgiveness, I don't want it to just be words or thoughts. Like, I want to do actions because I just feel like maybe that will help even with the process of forgiveness.
Yes.
But then my issue is that then how do I keep good boundaries with that person at the same time? Because I'm not necessarily conflicting, but I don't know. I just don't know how to have a good balance.
So you want to do goodness to the person so that you always insert peace?
Yeah, exactly. But to also have good boundaries.
Then make it clear that what happened. It depends on the person completely, and this is all case by case. But generally speaking, what you're doing is excellent, because if your enemy is hungry, give him food. If he's thirsty, give him drink. This is Romans 12, which has also the renewal of the image by the renewal of the mind, and do not avenge yourselves. You are doing a great active, not passive way of accepting the person. So do it. It's like offer and test and wait and see the result. If the result is the same, cut and paste abuse, then start saying, I'm here for you, but if this is the reaction, our relationship will become less. You seems to be not noticing what's happening. But all what we're doing is that I don't want an anger to eat you up. And how can I solve this? I have to solve it with what's real, not what pacifying. If I give you pacification methods, we're not going to succeed. It's going to go for a couple of days and they will explode because it's not real. You are a real person with the Holy Spirit in you. So this is real. So the more I put in my mind, okay, I got hurt today. This is a small participation with the nail going through the hand of Christ. This is one of the punches that came to his face. This is one of the spits that went into Christ's face. Why did the apostles love to be in tribulation? Because they wanted to imitate Christ. They couldn't take it either. He's the righteous, holy person, God, and he suffers this, and we're just going to go free. St. Peter and St. John in Acts 5 were so happy that they were flogged because of his name. Is this lunacy? No. That genuinely, finally, we could pay back something from what he gave us. Release, relief, liberation. The devil doesn't want us to have this because he wants activity of the pride, justification, or and we get trapped to the voice of the pride. So as I'm saying, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. The friends, the closest persons, all of these we can have unexpected hurt. And it hurts. It really hurts. And personally, there is something that's very, very hurtful, but that's why I could relate very, very much how to deal with it. Should I sue? There's something that's legally wrong, taken advantage of. Or should I not? Because it can drag me into a process that I'm not capable to maintain. How can I forgive? And I exactly know what everybody's feeling. When something that's really yours gets taken or taken advantage of. Why? Exactly. Why are you doing this? First, why? How do they think? What do they gain? Is world eternal? So this is the lunacy of the world, really, as Carlos was saying. So dealing to fix it, you might not get anywhere. But St. John Chrysostom says, if you want to love your enemy, go and do something good to your enemy. You will love him with time. And I applaud you very, very much for doing this. But please don't leave the Bible. Don't deal with it psychologically. You have to deal with it with what's God's way, the Bible's way. So to summarize, God gives with every tribulation the exit. The exit could be the problem being solved or you're being solved. Your personality is being solved, and that's always to the better. Second, or first thing, your life is not your own, and God wants it to be perfect to get into the kingdom of heaven. Third, you have what's waiting for you since you were baptized and your name was written into the kingdom of heaven. What's waiting for you, an inheritance that's incorruptible, that's undefiled, that doesn't fade away. And you don't want to miss out at all in it. Fourth, the last point, when you are a teacher or a professor in school, you take the best students in the school and you give them extra material. You know what I'm going? I'm a D, please, I don't want extra material. God, in His process to enhance you, makes you taste His verses bit by bit. And the deepest verses of God are the verses of loving your enemy. So He's taking your hand. Can we get deeper a little bit? How far do we go? I have for you an amazing verse. I want you to test it in your life.
Can you repeat 1 and 2? Sorry. The first two, can you repeat them again?
I forgot.
5 words.
That's all improvising. The verse to my life is not my own. Or that's the second one. That's the first one is God gives an exit with the tribulation, and the exit is either the problem gets solved or you get solved. You get solved means that you're able to acquire a sharpness that makes you a deeper person to deal with this peacefully as it was always before a problem. And the third one is that really what's stashed. Life is not your own. The exit is your personality itself. It's real, it's not a drug, because there is actually a reserved inheritance for you and a reserved reward. And the fourth one, it's a sign that God has His eye on you, that not that God has abandoned you. Because He has His eye on you, as He had His eye on Job, it means that you are going to be an icon for Christ. And the icon doesn't mean that your life will be miserable. The icon means that you're going to have the utmost peace and strength and spirituality, because God is taking you hand by hand to get you to the kingdom of heaven. He's not the God who waits at the finish line till we finish our life and says, pass or fail. No, that's not God at all. At all. He's the one who takes us to the hurdles of life, and when you fall on one, He goes back again and says, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. We're going to do it. I'm going to help you with this. Is this process easy? No. But it's pleasure. It's the true pleasure. So we have to have our eyes really on the goal, on Christ, on heaven. This is the only way that can help us. The handout that the servants did is amazing in this. And I think that the talented ideas we covered several of them, especially we didn't cover Matthew 18, but for the sake of time, I think it will be good contemplation for you that you take every advantage to save others. The other, how many times I forgive my brother? You can do it every time you forgive, you let them know what they did wrong and forgive. So may God help you in all of the situations, and please pray for me to Christ as the glorious good Father and the Holy Spirit on that time. Thank you all very much, and God help you with all of the difficulties.
Okay, we are going to announce, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we're going to do with the rest of our evening. We got some exciting things coming up, so get excited. Monica's very excited. Sally's excited. Who else is excited? Nora's excited. I see some smiles. All right, good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask everyone. We're going to take a group photo, but we're going to make this very easy and a very simple process because I know this sometimes can take too long. We're going to ask everyone to just move up in your seats, fill up the aisles all the way to the front. So if there are seats in front of you, just move up to the next aisle. We're going to stand up here and take the pictures facing this way, okay? So please, everybody, just move up, fill up the gaps. Fill the gaps. Quickly, so we can get this part over with. After we do this, I'm going to speak as you guys are moving. After the group photo, we're going to give you a 10-minute break. You can grab snacks, coffee, drinks. Don't just please come up for the pictures. Fill up the seats we got.